Thank you, Phil. Oh, get ready for this, boys and girls.
Oh.
We are live from Paris, France. Leo Leporte with Sarah Lane at LeWeb 2011, Loic L'Amour's amazing conference of entrepreneurs, startup people, and just crazy, nutty people like Joseph 5.0. Come in, Joseph 5.0.
Hi, Joseph 5.0.
Whoa, careful, careful. I don't think you're allowed to sit down. By the way, you know he uses Evernote. Did you see what's on the back of his... This is so as
I was about to say you've got an iPad on your back, but you also have an iPad on your front and a Mac.
Joseph,
MacBook Air.
Get ready for this. Ran the Tokyo Marathon in this getup.
We're trying to convince him to paint the Evernote logo in Tokyo.
Well, he's got the got a little Evernote coaster there. Yeah. Joseph, take a microphone because that's the only way we're going to be able to hear you. Obviously, you don't need to sit down. We'll figure out some way you can't.
It's sort of better if you.
Well,
I could squat.
Wow. Take a load off. How much does all that weigh?
You know, today I think this weighs about 10 kilograms.
Oh, my. 22 pounds. You're glad to take a load off.
Yeah. Oh, it's good, you know. I just had a wonderful experience on the main stage.
I heard it didn't... Did your slides...
It was extraordinary. So, you know, sometimes computers stuff up. So I took a spare computer. I had 2 MacBooks.
Yeah.
Neither of them would work with Keynote.
No.
The remote wouldn't work, and then they wouldn't output to the display.
It's the worst thing. I've had that happen to me.
But you know what? It was a character-building experience.
And you are quite the character.
Myself.
So, all right. So, Joseph, how did this happen?
Well, you know what, Leo? It all goes back to one day about, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago when I was in the garden listening to my favorite podcast, TWiT. And there was this guy on there who actually, I didn't really know who he was, but he seemed to be pretty into his Apple products. And through that, I thought, okay, I'm going to get an iPod, and I got one. And then I thought, I want to make a podcast like that guy does. And I bought a white MacBook, and I made my first podcast on GarageBand. That guy, of course, was Leo Leporte.
What was that first podcast about?
So that was my first podcast. It was when I first went to Japan. So I was... so
you're a Brit living in Japan?
That's right. I've been living in Tokyo for about 5 years now.
How do you must like it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But when you walk down this... Do you go down...
Well, not always. You know, I do sometimes...
I'm taking it all in. I mean, I can't even count all the... I see 4 iPhones, 2 iPads,
What do you got?
MacBook
What do you
Air.
got? So that wasn't... The first setup was a little simpler.
HDMI
out. That's it. The first setup was a little simpler, but we have got, the 4 iPhones, the 4S, the 2 3GSs, a GoPro. We have an HDMI switcher here because we also have a Cerevo Live Shell. They're brand new. I don't think they're out in the US
What is that?
yet. It's basically what you do is you plug in via HDMI and you turn it on, and that's it. It's automatically connected to Ustream broadcasting, whatever you put in via HDMI.
Over a 4G network?
No, over sorry,
3G.
it has to be over Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Sorry, you have to have a pocket Wi-Fi. I tend to have several, so I never really think about needing them.
Now, when you ran the Tokyo Marathon, you must have used 3G.
So
unless you had a MiFi or something.
Yeah, we had a MiFi for each of the 4 major networks.
Clever.
So we used WiMAX and the other ones. So
did you have any downtime at all?
We certainly did. We certainly did. I tell you, I don't remember the first 10K of running the Tokyo Marathon because I was constantly going, connect. Oh, and Skype hung up again. Because what we were doing is we were Skype videoing into a studio that I borrowed, where we had all these MacBooks lined up with Skype on. Then we mixed them, rebroadcast over Ustream. So that was a
What's your
real
Ustream
challenge.
channel? Are you broadcasting right now?
You know what? I'd love to be, but the Wi-Fi here has been really suffering.
Too many people using it.
So yeah, not right now. But you know, I think it's incredible that we can use these kind of everyday devices to do these.
So you've got 2 iPhone 4s. You've got a 3GS.
Yeah, I got
You've
two
got a
3GSs.
GoPro camera. You've got a regular video camera.
Yeah, the GoPro is awesome.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, it makes me want to jump off tall mountains though. Which, I guess I better get some wings first.
You need those wings.
We've got generators on my shoes as well. I don't know if the cameras can see this.
So
but
you have generators to do... You mean you're getting power from your shoes?
Yeah, so when I walk, you can't really see it. But
we can see it. No, we can see it. We got a good shot of it, yeah.
When I walk, it's a bit defunct now, but it generates electricity. And
enough to power all that? No.
No, it generates enough to power these torches strapped to my feet for about 3 milliseconds. But that's not the point. That's not the point. It's proof of concept.
It's proof of concept.
We'll get there. Next year, I'll have, it'll
get better every year.
Yes.
What does the bunny on the front do?
The bunny,
Anything?
well, is for safety first.
Yes.
Yes. So that's the bunny is very popular on the trains.
You've got some bunnies on your feet as well.
I do have bunnies on my feet. Yeah. Well, the thing is, bunnies are really good at running. And this is a running machine.
Well, and they're motivating because they'll always be ahead of you, one step ahead.
Exactly. And I hired them so that they would run when I got really tired. But you know what? On the marathon day, they slept right through it. Things.
What does your wife think of all this, Joseph?
So, well, she's at first she was quite worried, I must admit. And when
worried for your mental stability or physical?
Yes. I think no, mental and also our marriage. Because actually, for a marathon the year before, I bought a bunny costume. A little sequined number, and she said, if you know what, these days she's actually very supportive, and I don't know how she manages to be, but she's a little bit proud as well.
Oh, I'd be proud.
So she's great. She's been watching today.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So, it's been quite a journey from first discovering my first iPod and then gradually falling in love with the iPhone. It completely changed life for me in Japan, where communication is such a big issue. Mm-hmm. And then, this is fun. People enjoy it. We've got a helicopter on my helmet as well. I don't know if you can see that.
Now, what does that do?
So, does that ever, can it detach?
I mean, no. Surely the answer is obvious. This is heavy. I need a helicopter. Yes. And you know what? That also failed to fly today just before I went on stage. I don't know what was going on.
Joseph, do you do birthday parties?
I should do.
What's the little camera right above your name?
This is a
tiny little guy.
A backup live streaming camera, which is connected via USB.
You could stream multiple views. And we should mention the iPad on the back is so that people can log in. It's a guest book.
That's right.
People run behind you and type in hello.
Exactly. And it's a public shared guest book on Evernote, so anyone can access it. And some people have asked me if I'm sponsored by Evernote. I'm not, but I love it. It makes a...
Had you met Phil before?
Yes. We met a few times. He comes to Tokyo.
I must say, Tokyo is a really great place for this.
Probably the best place for
what
this.
What is the reaction?
Because be like, yeah, you're like one of us.
Well, but Japanese people are very traditional and conservative, and yet they do seem to love their characters.
They do. And, this is one reason why I've continued to do this. Because it really makes people smile.
I bet.
I mean, you're walking down the street, and in Tokyo, where people kind of keep their distance a little bit, they will smile, they will stop and ask. I'll get these grannies on the train. They'll say to me, excuse me, but what is that? And I'll say, oh, it's a live streaming machine. And say, oh, right, of course. It's wonderful. And the children as well. So it's a great icebreaker. I was a little bit nervous bringing it to Paris, because I've never worn this outside of Japan. And this morning when I stepped out of my apartment, I was looking around to see how people were reacting.
How did they?
Well, initially people were just shocked, but actually then people asking, little children running by, pointing and asking their parents what it is, and their parents going, I haven't a clue.
Keep moving.
So, yeah. So for the next marathon, we're going to team up with LiveU.
Oh, good.
Because last year the experience with using multiple networks on different devices was such a nightmare.
Well, we're big fans of the LiveU. Now, the backpack that we're using is 25 pounds, but and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, what they're doing. I think I'm not. But I think there'll be a better solution for you. Let's put it that way.
Yes, well, I haven't been told not to say anything
then you may
about
speak.
that. So I was of course, I live in Tokyo, and I went to a recent Interbeat broadcast exhibition there, and they have their new LiveU on display there. It's fantastic. So I saw it. It's very small.
Yeah.
I saw that and I thought, oh my God, this has been made just for me.
It has, yeah.
And it just so happened that
you and Brent By, our camera guy, who had to carry the LiveU all over South by Southwest. He's very glad about it too.
I bet, because the big one, it's huge.
Yeah, it's 25 pounds, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So the new one, I think it's going to be perfect. So we'll have a reliable signal. We've got great 3G and 4G in Tokyo now. So yeah.
So, Joseph, I may have inspired you, but do you think that there are young people out there watching today who are inspired by Joseph 5.0?
I don't know if inspired's the right word. Probably.
I totally think so.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Well, you have such a good attitude about it.
Thank you,
You're having a
thank
good
you.
time.
Yeah, yeah, and the people around me are having a good time, and that's the main thing.
Your Twitter handle is Tame Goes Wild.
Yes, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but
Tame Goes
Tame
Wild.
Goes Wild.
Tame
Joseph
Goes
Tame.
Wild.
And is there a website or?
Yes, my website is Joseph Tame. But it's ta.me. So
Okay.
Joseph Tame, all one word. Just search Joseph Tokyo Marathon.
Are you going to run the next one?
Yes, I'm in for the next one.
When is it?
It's the 26th of February, 2012.
How fast can you go at maximum speed?
Ask him what his time was for the last one.
I'll tell you what, yeah. for my first, in like 4 hours. My next one, with a little more complex setup, it was 5 hours, 10 minutes. This year, it was 6 hours.
People behind you?
There are not many. The ones that were there were walking. But, you know, it was such a wonderful experience. The Apple Ginza store, which is the main store in Tokyo, is on the marathon route. And so when we're passing by it, my team in the studio, they say, hey, Joseph, you should go in there. And I'm like, why? Why? I thought, they must have something prepared. So I march into the Apple store. It's completely packed. And there's silence. Everyone is staring at me and thinking, it was a setup. And so I thought, okay, I have to do something inside in Japanese. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Joseph Tame, and I'm halfway through running the Tokyo Marathon. Wonderful.
What do you do for a living, Joseph?
My own company, and I work, but I kind of work with many different clients. My main work is in video production, video and TV production. So things like when Coldplay came over to Japan, we do all their camera stuff, and Bon Jovi, and last year we did the Great Race and things like that. So it's a lot of fun, actually. I get to play. Here I play with all the really cheap broadcast equipment. Then I go to work and I get to play with the big toys. You know, it's just wonderful. So
well, you're just a big kid, I can tell.
I am.
It's so nice to see you, Joseph.
Oh, it's lovely to see you too. After, you know, I had to show this to you because after all, it was you that started it.
It's all my fault, huh?
I'm afraid so.
That's awesome.
Tame Goes Wild, Joseph Tame. Thank you so much for being here.
Cheers.
Yeah, we really
Thanks,
appreciate
Joseph.
it. Have a great LeWeb.
I will.
And I'm sorry
Can
about
I
your,
help you
your
up?
talk,
That's
but
all right.
I think you did a great job
be
here.
okay.
So. And what is the Ustream URL?
Ustream is Tame Goes Wild.
Tame Goes Wild on
Tame Goes Wild. That's where I am.
That's great.
All right, thank you so
Joseph.
much.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
We saw you
We'll be
out on the other
watching.
side of the windows, and I'm glad we got to hear the story.
I rode in a cab with a normal-looking Joseph Tame last night. He wasn't wearing his outfit.
Oh, you met Joseph already?
Oh, yeah, I met Joseph. He came up and said hi yesterday. I said, Joseph, you must come by.
Did he say, I'm going to be looking a little different?
Yeah, I kind of
I'll
knew.
have many cameras attached to
I didn't
myself.
know quite how elaborate it was. I'd seen pictures, but
I saw him earlier in the speaker's lounge.
Right.
We all have like people sleeping, doing some work, and he was kind of putting some stuff on his shoes, and he's just like a normal guy. And I looked over a few minutes later, and I'm like, gosh, he's got a lot more attached to himself. I started to watch the transformation happen.
It's amazing. Well,
that's great.
One thing that is really gratifying to me, and all of us who worked at Tech TV got to get this experience, is you come to a conference like this, and there are a lot of young people, and a number of them come up to me and said, you know, I'm doing what I'm doing because we watched Tech TV and we got excited about technology, and we really wanted to keep doing it. And so I think that this is the most extreme example of that. But there are more than a few people who have been inspired by what we did at Tech TV, and so it's always great for me to see that.
Absolutely.
So get ready. We're going to talk about to-do lists, but let me thank you all for being here. We'd like to close out each one and begin each one fresh. So we'll continue with more. We've got Wonderlists coming up in just a bit. Leo Leporte.
And Sarah Lane.
Live from Paris at LeWeb 2011.
Bonsoir. No, we're not really into bonsoir yet. Bonjour.
Buenos tardes. We are